What I want to show you in this brief video is what the Photo Companion is and how it works. So I've selected some slides right out of the collection that will give you an idea for the possibilities. First of all, what is the Photo Companion to the Bible? It's a unique digital resource that illustrates the biblical text verse by verse. Within PowerPoint, we've organized photographs old and new from biblical sites and landscapes, including cultural scenes and museum artifacts. All of this is tied together with a verse reference, with a photograph description, and explanatory notes. We've created an extensive library to make the Bible more understandable and easier to teach. Let me give you a taste of what you'll find if you open Matthew 5 to where Jesus begins the Sermon on the Mount. We have more than 300 slides for this sermon, but I'll show you just a few. These first images show the traditional Mount of Beatitudes next to the Sea of Galilee. As we always try to do, we provide multiple angles of the location, both from the ground and from the air. And in this case, also from the water. We have a photo of a modern sculpture of Jesus teaching the disciples overlooking that traditional location. When Jesus speaks of the salt of the earth, there's a photo of salt crystals along the shore of the Dead Sea. When Jesus speaks about the city on the hill that cannot be hidden, perhaps Jesus was thinking about Hippus, a large city prominently perched on a hill on the east side of the Sea of Galilee. Here's a photo of an oil lamp from the time of Jesus to illustrate his teaching about the light of the world. And here's a very old Torah scroll where we've circled the Hebrew letter Yod, this small letter that Jesus said would not pass from the law. Let's take a look at the feeding of the 5,000 in John 6. This first photo shows a possible location for where the miracle took place, in the region of Bethsaida. And this photo of a large crowd gathered for a festival in the 1940s gives a sense of what the scene might have looked like to Jesus and the disciples. Perhaps it was on the mountain on the right side of this photo that Jesus ascended in order to teach. Jesus asked his disciples where they could buy bread, bringing to mind images of bread vendors that you can still find lining the streets in the Middle East. This ancient mosaic in a nearby church recalls how Jesus did the miracle. He took 2 fish and 5 loaves and distributed them to the people. John records that there was much grass in the place, and Mark adds a detail that the grass was green. We took this photo not far from where the miracle must have taken place. After they finished eating, they gathered up basketfuls of bread, and Jesus withdrew to one of the mountains nearby. In Luke's parable of the lost sheep, we provide a variety of photos to help visualize this story. We use modern-day photos that we've taken in the Middle East, both of individual sheep as well as of shepherds with their flocks. This photo of a shepherdess caring for her lamb communicates well the love the shepherd has for the sheep. We also have an ancient representation of the Good Shepherd, this one from a museum in Greece. And where helpful, we draw in black and white photos from the late 19th and early 20th centuries. One of our favorite features of the Photo Companion to the Bible is the aerial slides that we have labeled to help you to make sense of the stories. Here's one showing the possible route that Jesus took when traveling between Samaria and Galilee on his way to Jerusalem. On another occasion, Jesus was with a woman at the well when she asked him about worship on this mountain. This slide shows the close relationship between that well and the location where the Samaritan temple once stood. This aerial photograph shows the path that Jesus took when traveling from Jericho up to Jerusalem. And this next slide shows his route from Bethany to Bethphage and Jerusalem on the week that he was crucified. He arrived at the Temple Mount after crossing the Mount of Olives. And this view with its labels shows something that many don't know. Jesus healed the widow's son in Nain on the opposite side of the hill, where the prophet Elisha raised another woman's son from the dead. The Gospels lend themselves so well to illustration, not only because the writers were so careful to record the place names, but also because Jesus told so many parables related to the world around him. Mustard seeds, dragnets, coins with the image of the emperor, rubbing heads of grain, all of these visual images make more sense when we can see them today. So that's a little more detail about the Photo Companion to the Bible. We're really excited about it, as this is the only resource of its kind. Take a look. and let us know what you think.